Hey,
Hey,
hello everyone. Hello. I'm Angela,
I'm Darnell.
and welcome to
Garrison
Garrison House.
House.
Woohoo!
All right.
All right, how everyone doing today? Come on in and join us. We're going to have some nice topics today. We're going to talk about health and family.
Yes, this is
Something
going to be
that
very interesting. An interesting hour for you all today.
yes. So hopefully you guys will enjoy yourself. All right.
So I guess we're waiting for a few people. I see my cousin Bobby has joined us.
Hello, Bobby.
Uh,
Nice seeing you.
yeah. Hey. Yep. He said, "Hey, cousins."
Hello.
Let's see who else we got coming in. With shows, we got three people. It's probably
Me and you.
and Bobby.
Hey, Bobby.
That's fine. People catch it on the replay. We had some minor technical hiccups today. We're sitting actually to our new Garrison House
Yes.
Facebook page and my page.
Travel on over there and hit the follow button. It's like
Yes,
those three dots. I don't know how it works nowadays.
I just like the page.
Like the page, follow. I want to follow too.
You can
and
like it.
follow.
Yeah, you
Like
can
and
like
follow.
it. Like and follow. Follow
let
us.
you know that when we go live every other Sunday at
Yes.
8 p.m. So hopefully we're going to come back, and actually one Sunday will be actually on Christmas Eve. So we'll see how that works out.
I think we should do it.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Why not?
And now, if you see me looking, I'm also working graphics. I'm a little bit. I'm the every guy. I'm doing everything here. Our assistant won't. She doesn't want to help. Just kidding.
No,
Just
stop
kidding.
it.
Just kidding. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna go right into our first topic. We don't want to be before you long.
The first topic is know your benefits.
Now, I don't really know. This is her area, so I'm gonna let Angie talk about it.
It's not gonna. I'm not gonna be in depth about it because we can go forever about benefits plans and how it works. But just basically, he wanted me to discuss a little bit more about benefits, and because this is open enrollment season right now, my company just finished theirs, and then we have the Medicare and the Medicaid, healthcare.gov. I believe they're still going until December, somewhere mid-December. I believe. Don't quote me on that. Just go on the website and find out. And if you have a company and your benefits plan is during open enrollment for 2024, just making sure things that you maybe need to be aware of. Right now, we're looking at the fact that premiums may change. What's the difference between a PPO? I think they're now calling it EPO because sometimes now EPO used to be HMOs, and but now they're calling them EPOs because now you have a deductible. And when I was listening to the information that the representative was saying, he calls the EPOs like the sleeper plan. Basically means it just works itself out. You don't have to really worry about it. PPOs, you got to look at a little bit more about it. You got to pay 20% co-insurance. Most of the time, it's 20% co-insurance, and plus you have the deductible you have to meet before before even the co-insurance kicks in. So make sure you know about the difference between that. PPOs are always going to be less. However, if you go into the HSA plans, then they take dollars out, tax-free dollars out of your account, out of your check, and go towards the HSA plan, and then you can use that towards your deductibles, co-pays, or whatever else you need. The EPOs have the FSA plan, which is basically same thing as HSA, but it's totally different. Just basically helps you pay for, again, your deductibles, co-pays, and such and such and such. Also, I like to say when you're doing like prescription coverages, make sure that some plans have a specific pharmacy you must go to, and if you're going to that pharmacy, they may charge a surcharge. So you're saying, why am I paying so much? Why am I paying $10, $15? So I know with me, if I go to a specific pharmacy, there is a surcharge. So I know that I'm going to be paying more money if I go to this pharmacy. So you want to make sure you know that. Make sure you know mail order. Is your mail order plans? Do you have to go through mail order? Some insurance plans allow you to at least give up to 3 months at the retail until you get set up for mail order. After that, you have to go to mail order. If you work for a hospital, just thought know you that too. If you work for a hospital, it's cheaper, of course, to go to that hospital pharmacy. And sometimes the plan, your insurance plan, because it is a hospital ran insurance plan, you're going to may have to actually go to the specific hospital. We have the Henry Ford, we have Cornwell, we have all these. So if you go to those pharmacies, then of course you're going to pay less if you go out there. They consider out network. Now they'll let you maybe hit it up for a couple of months, but after that you're going to have to possibly have to go to those specific pharmacies that if it's a hospital ran pharmacy. Prior authorizations, make sure you understand that. Just a pro tip on the prior authorizations. If the drug that your doctor is prescribing you at least has to be FDA approved for the condition that they are prescribing it for. Just one of those things. Not all prior authorizations are like that, but just this is a key point. Now they got these new weight loss medications out. Now there are some that's targeted to weight loss. They have the same not the same active ingredients, but the similar active ingredients as for the type 2 diabetes. Now insurance companies are requiring a prior authorization for those drugs, and even though you've been on it, the doctor's been prescribing it, but you've been using it for weight loss, you may not be able to do it if you don't have the specific type 2 diabetes. Some insurance plans don't even cover weight loss medications. So you got to make sure you understand that, because I know probably a lot of people I read where they're getting their drugs and at first, but now all of a sudden it needs a prior authorization. Okay. Also, you got to realize too, Medicare and Medicaid are totally different. Now, I know you guys been watching on the news about this whole drug pricing negotiation. Now, to be truthfully honest, that's been going on all the time, no matter who was in the office, okay? Now, I know they said somebody didn't do it. I'm not even going to go over the politics about it, but just letting you know that drug pricing for Medicare and Medicaid services have always been going on. So they take the top-rated drugs that are being prescribed by providers and see if they can negotiate that pricing for you. In order to be able to, now this is just federal plans. Now this is not commercial or marketplace. This is strictly federal because it's federally funded plans. Medicare and Medicaid. Medicare is people for over 65. Medicaid is people who are under there with low income or low or healthcare.gov or whatever. So actually that's not going to be healthcare.gov. So prescription pricing. Also let you know with the Medicare insulin plan, which is actually pretty good, where they got it where it's at $35. Even if you're in a coverage gap, if you're Medicare, you pay so much money in the beginning. Once you hit a certain amount, you go into a coverage gap. Basically means that you're paying full costs. And then after that, you go into, then technically your drugs are no cost to you. Usually that's going down towards the end of the year because, not everybody can spend up to $3,700 or $5,700 on drugs, unless, of course, you're on name brand medications. Make sure you also know that. So hopefully, just make sure you read the papers, your documents, making sure that got your, I went to the doctor to get some test strips, and not the doctor, pharmacy, and they're trying to say, you have Medicare. No, I don't have Medicare. And they kept going back and forth. You got Medicare? I said, no, I don't have Medicare. I may look a little older, but I'm not that old. So, so just like you know that if you do have Medicare and you're trying to get testing supplies or whatever, usually if you have a supplemental Part D, it's just your Medicare coverage. Now they'll just pay, the amount for that. But if you have a supplemental Part D or Medicaid, they can cover the rest of the copay for that too. Just letting you know that.
Now, this is what she does. So I honestly just sit here going, oh, let me see who I was on. I see Junie joined us.
Junie,
I see your sister Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
My cousin Hattie. Mm-hmm. And in a few seconds, we're going to welcome our B2 TV audience who's watching us.
So benefit packages are interesting. So making sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. So hopefully you guys got something out of it. But yeah, I won't go too in depth with that. But just making sure, one thing you always got to do, making sure that first of all you're in network and not out of network. One thing about dental, this man loves his dental insurance, and I'm like, I actually literally because I wanted to switch it to a lower one, but sometimes not all dental offices cover this particular one, so I have to stick with the one that's a little bit higher. But it is what it is, right? So we got it. So that and vision is always the VSP plan. Everybody has the VSP plan, unless you go through your whatever insurance agent you have, insurance company you have.
My grill's got to be right.
I understand.
I got to
that.
have the grill right. I'm supposed to have had a procedure. I'm not probably going to do it. If my doctor is watching, I didn't send him an invite. We'll talk about that later.
So, yeah, hopefully you guys got something out of it, making sure you know your copays, your generics, brands, non-preferred brand, and specialties. Specialties usually need a prior authorization. Some insurance plans are pretty good, so.
Hey.
Some not. All right. Anybody has any questions that maybe a quick question I maybe can answer for you, just put it in the comments and see what we can. And I'm not an expert. I just know just a little bit of something.
Yeah, right. She does.
I've been doing this
all day. She CHPHT. Is that your initials at the end?
Something like that.
So yeah, she's a pharmacy. She's a pharmacy technician, certified pharmacy technician. So yeah, she knows her stuff. When people hand me insurance stuff, I just do this here.
I be looking too. I'm like, look,
that's not my area.
It was tempting to go to the PPO because, of course, I'm saving a lot more if I go to the PPO. But I never done them, so I just don't like them. If that was the only option I had, when we give you options, of course you're going to go do something you're familiar with. But if that was the only option I had, then of course I would have took it. But I was like, I'm confused. And this is actually my first time doing an FSA. So, because again, we had that last year I got stuck. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. So this year I did one, and I'll see how it works out for me. This is my first time doing one.
I think it's going to work great, even though the dentist's office wants us to get a little bit more planned because the procedure they want to do.
It doesn't, that's not how it works. You can't have two major dental plans.
And that's a good thing to know because the dentist's office says, hey, you need to get an extra $2,000 or $3,000. You need to change your plan. But, I came home, she says it doesn't work that way.
I mean, they have a plan that it just straight out of pocket, but I don't know if they take it. I was going to actually call them, but I was like...
Oh, we'll discuss that.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the next topic, and here it comes. What is the head of house? Or head of the house?
Or head of the household, head of household. Because I was reading something. Of course, I like to watch social media. I'm a social media stalker. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not like that. But
She's not stalker.
But I like to look through social media, look and see what everybody's talking about. And somebody said, "What in the world is the head of household?" Which is basically the only thing I could have thought about is when you do your taxes. And it says head of household. Now, if you're a tax expert on this line, if you want to chime in and say what it means on the tax purposes, I think I read a little bit saying is whoever makes the most money. But anyway,
just being honest.
But that's one of the things because you got to realize nowadays, because now it says married filed jointly, and it's basically also get a little tax credit or something like that. But back then, when people were doing taxes, women wasn't working. It used to be just one income household. So the one income household was always the husband. He was always considered the head of household. Now, if you have something to comment about the head of household,
honestly,
without being about taxes,
head of household to me is just the one who's the head of the house. I mean, to me, I don't see it as economic. I can take it to the biblical standard, say the man is the head and the woman. Now let's take it to the modern. The head man's the head, the woman is the neck of the house. I mean, you can't operate without a neck. I tell people, it's like when it comes to what goes on in the house, I had this one, as we said I think it was last week about the doghouse. I have this one spot, and that's pretty much this corner you all are seeing here. This is my domain. Now, I do sort of spread out. However, I do get the lecture about it being clean. And so, when it comes to the overall operations of the house, she's the head of the operations of this house. I don't.
What is that supposed to mean?
She's the one. If I say, hey, when she wants to paint, I say you pick the color that you want.
Though.
Well, but, I mean, overall.
Actually, when we first got married, you said that. But when I started asking, this is like 27 years when we first got married, and I started trying to do something, well, I don't really like that. No, I don't want that. Why
I
you doing
changed,
that way?
okay?
I was like, that was, you not say?
That's the immaturity of young marriage, and then as you get a little more seasoned in marriage, you start going, look, this is you.
Yeah.
This
so
is honestly, this is the first. This is the first house we 100% own. I mean, like, don't have to worry about anything.
So yeah, I did have a lot more say of color choices in this particular area. Like the purple you see in this room, it was my color choice.
All the colors were her choice, and all I do is I went, okay, that might see. And when I see it, I say, hey, that looks good.
I mean, fine. Y'all shouldn't be fighting over. I don't want the purple. I don't want black.
Right.
Oh, I hate that. Oh, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, hold up.
And then the man is
really that deep, really.
And the man is going, well, I'm the head of the house. I was like, bro, you need to realize, happy wife, happy life. Even though sometimes, like I have to go into this yesterday. I had this Subway sauce.
I was gonna bring it up, but he's bringing it up.
And it's the new. I forgot. It's actually pretty tasty. I said, "Oh, I love this sauce." She got upset.
No, that's not how you said it. He was like, "Oh, I love this sauce," and I'm like, I almost got offended. How he?
It's
like,
a sauce.
How you gonna say that about a sauce? And it's like, what about me?
It's a sauce. It's a good sauce. It's really good.
Oh, this is so good. Oh, this is slamming. I'm gonna go smack my mouth. No, he was like, I love this sauce.
It's a good sauce. It's alioli, garlic, roasted garlic, alioli, or some sauce. It's actually good sauce. So I tried it on my turkey breast flatbread. Say, oh, this is actually pretty good. But then I said, I love this because it
kind of came out of nowhere too. I'm like, it was, and then I thought it was kind of funny, so I started teasing him.
She tried to give me the cold shoulder, going back to last week's the cold shoulder.
But now, so I just thought it was funny now.
Well, I sort of teased her throughout the day about certain things. So we have fun, and I'm quite sure some people who are watching are going, Angela talks? Yes, she does.
Well, sometimes I got something to say.
Yeah. But the head of house, I mean, I really...
Some people also, when they look at marriage, when it comes to stuff too, the man, greet the man at the door, grab his briefcase, do stuff like that. Do what's good for you in your marriage. We're not here trying to give marriage... We're not here trying to get marriage advice. Put the cat down. Maybe wants to go down.
Well, I'm just bringing our special guest. He wants to be on, so I figured.
And so one of the things we just here to discuss. We're just discussing certain topics and what we perceive things to be. So we're not here trying to say this is marriage advice.
No.
Just do what's best for your marriage and how you want to work it. But try not to. Somebody has to compromise. Somebody has to give in. If you got two stubborn people bumping heads, that's not going to help. Well, I want it this way. Well, I want it this way. Somebody has to compromise because you feel like you shouldn't. I'm always my ideals are always down and dirty, so I'm going to stand my ground. Is it really that?
Marriage is, even to the head of house topic, it's a learning experience because a lot of men, those of us who are Gen X and older, we were trained a little differently than today's generation. I believe that a lot of men felt that head of house was, especially those who came from a mother and father home. They saw that, and I believe
Right,
some
the mom
believe
will have the dinner ready.
Right.
The father comes home from work.
Right. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with having that. And in fact, that's how you structure your marriage. Is how you structure your marriage. You can use models of marriage. However, when it comes to the overall level of respect for each other, that's what it boils down to. Head of house. Yes, I'm the head of the family. As the head of the family, I have certain things that I'm responsible for. Now, when we use the term house, are we talking about the house or family? When it comes to the house, we work together. At the end of the day, we're both the head of the house. It doesn't matter who makes the most
Hey,
money.
Angela, did you pay that DTE bill? I'm the only one who got the app.
Yeah, I don't.
Did you pay the car insurance? I got the app.
I still believe in getting on the web browser. Now I handle the cable, the internet, and cable. That's my area. I make sure AT&T is covered, Comcast is covered, Verizon is covered. Now Verizon, we can drop you a plug if we like to.
But you like to sponsor them,
right? So I take care of the communication side of the house. When it comes to utilities, she handles utilities. I handle the taxes. Make sure the taxes are taken care of. The property taxes are done. So those are the areas. Now, property tax is the most important thing as head of a family or head of a house you have to take care of, because if you don't take care of the taxes, you get this little yellow bag on your house that the whole neighborhood would see. We used to live in a property. We had that happen. We came home. Now, we were tenants. The yellow bag was sitting on the door. And so that's something. We were the renters. So it didn't happen to us as owners. However, we've seen it happen where they put the little yellow bag.
Now, also women, I just want to kick this out too. When let's say that you saying my husband, what do you call it, released me from my job and told me I didn't have to work no more. That doesn't mean that you stop and just sit back and watch soap operas. I don't even know if people watch soap operas anymore, but just sit back.
Probably watch Chinese or rom-coms.
Now, that's not. I mean, but I still work. I work from home, so I got the TV on, so I still work. Leave me alone. No, I'm just kidding.
Those are good
but
shows.
I'm just saying is that doesn't mean that you can sit back and just don't do anything. If you weren't cooking before, and you're like, well, he's saying you're home, but you should at least know how to cook. Actually, or do dinner. You can't always eat out all the time and expect him to pay for everything or expect him. I mean, there is grocery stores. I hate grocery shop. That is one of the worst things. I don't like grocery shopping because it's tedious. You walk through the aisles, put stuff in the cart, take the stuff out the cart, put it on the conveyor belt, put it in the bag, take the bags, put it in the car, take it out the car, take the stuff out into the house. Take the stuff out the bag, put it away. That's just tedious. That's just too much. That's just doing too much. But it has to be done. You got to learn how. If you don't know how to cook, if you're just starting off in your marriage, you got to learn how to cook. Sometimes you're gonna have to cook. Well, he loves cooking. He said he'll always do all the cooking. Sometimes he says that in order to put that ring on your finger. But when it comes down to the real nitty gritty. Sometimes he be tired coming home at 9 o'clock working overtime, and you talking about let's go to eat and talking about calling the pizza.
Hey, I have no problem with that. But however, for the men, it's like one thing that my mom taught me, and my dad, as my dad would come by, it says you need to learn how to cook. And one of the things my dad said it, my mom said it, because my dad said
our age generation we were taught to we had to cook in order because it wasn't going out to eat every day. It wasn't going out to it was cooking. Nowadays, I actually that's like Rain come here and make Rain made the mac and cheese for I was sat there and watched her. For Thanksgiving, it was good. And so, but it's something. Sometimes you're gonna have to and stop. Those parody cooking things where people. Now, Rain showed me this picture of a friend of hers from work, and I'm like, "What is that?" She said, "That's how she made her. That's how she cooked it." I'm like, I should have thought Rain give me that picture. And I'm like, was this a parody or this is something she did?
I didn't see this.
And this was actually what she ate. And I'm like, okay. Hey. But
Yeah.
these men know how to make a simple chicken and rice and gravy. Good God.
Well, my first dish, I've shared this, was hot dogs, spaghetti, but actually cooking.
Hey, Kaya. Kaya's watching. Hi,
Hey,
Kaya.
and I see Bishop Lloyd is watching.
Hey, hi.
The first thing that I ever learned how to build from scratch was my own spaghetti sauce. And I had started crafting it, getting it together. I haven't made that sauce in over 30-something years.
One thing about Darnell,
I've
though-
been threatening to make that sauce.
One thing about Darnell though, when he get into something like that, he be getting to it. He be like engrossed in it. Like, what was something you were doing recently? It was like he was so engrossed. I need to make this. I want to know how to. I got to make this. I'm like, dude, so it's just a salad.
I like.
I don't know what he
Hey,
was doing. I'm like,
I have a salad dressing recipe that came to me one night. I need to make that. I had the container for it. But I just haven't made it yet.
And also with cooking shows, I guess we couldn't have the little topic about head of household. I guess it's all staying. Cooking shows are good to watch. It just gives you, to me, it just gives me ideas of how to put things together, how things should taste, see these things to taste. That's I should put that with that. So that's also about cooking shows.
I used to produce one, so I love cooking shows.
I was like, food costs too much. We're trying to do these little parody things. I'm like, what is this? What is this stuff?
Well, as we move to our next topic, I'm going to say, since we were a little bit on the head of house, living with my grandparents in their later years, I've seen how my grandpa would take up some of the slack and cook when my grandma didn't feel like it. My grandpa was the king of the cornbread. That was his thing.
Cornbread
He did
and milk.
Cornbread, milk, and if my grandma didn't want to make it, he would come in the kitchen and make the cornbread himself. And then when it cools off, have himself some cornbread and milk. It used to be cornbread and buttermilk. But then in the house, in my grandparents' home, aka this house, there wasn't a lot of meat eating. We had meat on Sundays. So it was chicken week or beef week. We didn't know if it was going to be a roast, if it was going to be chicken wings, but it was always chicken and beef. And through the week, we had beans. We had a lot of beans. So we ate all kinds of beans. They used to go to the market. We used to sit on the porch and break beans and do all that stuff. Shuck peas, shuck corn, all that. Used to be a garden in the backyard. Used to get fresh food. She used to make chow chow.
It used to be also they go fishing.
Yeah,
And they bring
used to go
back
to
the fish
Canada.
and they be out there scraping the scales off the fish.
In the garage, right? They used to go to Canada
And you
and
talking
pick
about,
up some fish.
This grandma, this time nowadays, we all just go to the market and let them do it. Hey,
Yeah,
I want that off the rack.
We don't work hard for our food anymore, which may have also affected how the household structure is going. Because it used to be you had to really use my grandparents. They actually worked hard to prepare. Apple orchards, strawberry fields, a lot of stuff we did. A lot of things we do today is just like fun days out, but they didn't realize our grandparents did it to store up. So they would go to the orchard and pick up 10 bushels of apples.
Like peaches used to be,
Right.
seasonal, so they used to can. Canning was the thing back then.
Right.
I think one sister from our ministry, she started going canning. Canning used to be the thing, so you used to can a lot of canning foods.
And we have some comments. My cousin, first, Bishop Lloyd, yes, we're going to keep it going. Your sister Sharon says teamwork. That's what it's all about.
Yes, teamwork. That's right.
And my cousin Bobby said he remembers cornbread and buttermilk. Now,
How can you drink buttermilk though?
it's no different than doing
buttermilk?
Buttermilk is an interesting flavor.
I got buttermilk pancakes, but I don't understand buttermilk. What is
We used to put it. I didn't understand it until my grandpa said, "Try it." It's just like you see my little habit with eggs and grits. My uncle Bamad from California introduced, because I really didn't care much for grits and all that. He said, "Okay, you're gonna have some fun with this." So he took my grits, put on the bread, egg, and just made a sandwich. And from then on,
That's a lot of starchy and sugar.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on, Uncle Bamad was my cool uncle.
Well, actually, I don't necessarily put it as a grit sandwich, but I put grits on the bread and just eat it like that too. Everyone, instead of using a spoon, I use the grit bread to scoop it up.
Yeah, Sharon, yes, meat can be canned, actually.
Yeah, Rain told me one time she wanted Spam. I'm like, Rain.
I mean, Spam is canned meat, salty as all get out. There are
Canned corned beef, you know.
Vienna sausages. Well, they can corned beef and hash. Woo.
But most of the time, I do a lot of cooking.
Hey,
Not that he doesn't do it himself, but he can't really
I
move
cooked
around the
this.
kitchen.
I was hungry this afternoon. She doesn't like Brussels
I don't like
sprouts.
Brussels
I made
sprouts.
me some Brussels sprouts, and we had this Korean seasoning. I did what she just said. I put that in there. I had some little bit of butter in it. Boiled it with my butter, seasoned it up. I sat here, ate the Brussels sprouts. They were excellent. I mean, I like Brussels sprouts. I like broccoli. I like those veggies. Those are veggies that I love. But what's that called?
Gochujang.
Gochujang.
I may be saying it wrong. So
It's a nice flavor. It's almost like bibimbap, which we get from there, and we get the I'm trying to remember the other stuff we get. The tteokbokki, and the cabbage. Kimchi, yes. I love kimchi. Now, if I would have some kimchi here with the Brussels sprouts, that's a great combination with me. And let's see. Let's go to our next topic because a lot of us know this. So we may revisit it, the head of house in the future. So our next topic is
Gen Z parenting. This is our main topic.
Yes, Gen Z. We are parents of a Gen Z, and one of the things I was thinking about.
Right.
What I was thinking about.
She's enough.
What I was thinking about before was how we are moving from being parents to advisors.
This point, right.
We're moving from the parental stage to. Okay, well, if you want to bump your head, go for it. I'm not. Hey, go out there, bump your head a couple times, and the door's still open. But going from that parenting phase to advise, it's an interesting. I mean, I remember when my mom and my grandparents. I think my mom had the hardest time letting go of the parenting stage, and I remember. I think she didn't let go of the parenting stage till we met. My grandparents, my grandpa would always say, well, he would give me advice, and he shifted from that grandparenting phase to, okay, well, I'm gonna tell you what to
do. When we first got our apartment, we went to our apartment when we first got before we got married.
This is Gen X talk here. So we had rented our apartment. We got married in September. We got our apartment that first week of August. I come home, like, hey, I'm home, Grandma. She was sitting in the kitchen, cutting something. I believe she was cutting, so I can't remember what she was doing. And she said, so you have your own apartment, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm moving right before we get married. She's like, mm-hmm. So basically, in the long story short, she says, I'm going to have a blanket for you, a pillow, and you need to go to your own apartment.
Stop taking them out of the house.
My grandpa didn't care. My grandma was like, boy, bye.
Grandma was like, bye.
I'm
See
like,
ya.
We don't even have a bed. She didn't care. She's like, you got to go.
Got to go.
So, that was my experience dealing with my grandma. She was sweet about that.
Going from parenting to just get out. I'm still your grandma, but not anymore. Not now.
Yeah,
you come home, you can say, hey, Grandma, but other than that, that's it.
It was a free month rent, so it didn't really matter. But she was like, no, you got to go. Love you, but the door is that way. Yeah. Now, I didn't have to turn my keys in. I still kept my keys.
Right. But Grandpa always he always wanted to come on back. Grandpa was
Grandpa.
That's when he got a little bit older.
When he got older, when my grandmother was put into I guess nursing home, he wanted us to come back and stay with him. We did it for a small season and we bounced. So
sometimes it's always nice, come home and regroup, and then you had to go back and do something else.
But we never dreamed that we would actually come back home.
I think Grandpa might have some insight because he always always left him this house to him. And just in case you needed a place, I think Grandpa had an insight because sure enough, when we needed a place, here it is.
Yeah, and it's people go, well, it's like, well, one of the things, even though we're sort of sliding off topic, it goes back to the key that we've been taught: honor. I would come over here, shave him, cut his hair, make sure everything was all right. And I remember the last time he drove, I was taking him because he needed a tire for his van. I was like, Grandpa, you need a tire. So I went and bought him a tire for his van, but then he had a stroke that day. And I knew he drove kind of weird when he was following me, and he had Rain and Teresa in the car. And I said, okay, well, that was kind of weird. But then he came back home, everything was fine, and the visiting nurse came over and said he was having some responsive problems, and that was when he was.
He wasn't fine because he ran into the.
He ran into anybody who's been over here. He's ran into the fence post. I didn't know that until I got here. He knocked down the fence. He knocked down the rails to the stairs. So I did honor him on his last time driving. I believe he was 97, 98. He was either 98 or.
It was time for him to stop anyway.
He was picking the girls up every day at 98. And then from that point, we just had to step up and take things forward.
But yeah, going back to parenting, one thing I always said, I wrote this down, and I even wrote this down. Parents always want what's best for their children, but they're scared to let them go because they're afraid they may fail. So we always want the best, but sometimes we hold on to them because we're afraid that we don't want them to fail. I think a long time, it was an 80s show, and he's like, I can't remember what the saying was. He was like, I love you too much to do something. And it was like, wow. He was like, I don't want you to go out there. I love you too much to have you go out there and get hurt, So with I said, with the Gen Z, my sister may want to chime in because she got 5 children, so she may want to chime in.
She only has one Z.
Well,
she has millennials.
I mean, now that she has 3, is it 3, Sharon, that are it's actually 4 that left home. So she can go from saying she was a parent to them. Now they're on their own, but you're still a parent. It's just the way you present things is more now as advice, because now they think they're grown now. They out, they're out the house, mama. But then you give them, just even now as a parent, you're like, don't do that, do that. You should do this. They still want, they still want to do it. But but parenting is just basically when you're little, we got to make sure they go to school, make sure you got their dresses, make sure they're eating, making sure that they got everything that they need, making sure you go to parent-teacher conferences, making sure that we're making that we have to do before they hit 18.
And dealing with wacky teachers.
Right. So we got to make sure all that is set. But once they go after 18, and I'm saying our daughter's 20, once she hit that age, she'll listen. But now it's more about advice, because she, is like, well, maybe you should do it this way. And I want to do it okay.
All right, knock yourself out.
But they're they want to do what they gotta do.
I know, speaking of when my parents were around, specifically my dad, I'm in my late 30s, and I said something, and I said, well, I think this would be a good idea to do. He gave me that look, and it was that look that I knew. So anybody who knew my dad, Alvin, they all know he would give you that look. It's like, that's a stupid idea. I'm like, okay, maybe I won't do that.
Even as adults, we also do those dumb stuff.
Yeah, and
you're like, wow, if I know the end, like hindsight is something we did. If you knew the end, like we know now. I always call it hindsight. Parenting now is more about, as you go with Gen Zs, everyone over 18, even though they still in your pockets, they still want to be in your pocket. They still got a job. They still want to be in your pocket. Well, but it's like they still want to do their own thing because they say they're grown, but yeah, they want.
It's easy for them now because they can be in your pocket and they just say Cash App me, Venmo me,
right.
PayPal me. It's easy. Back when we were in our parents' and grandparents' pockets, you had to get in the car, drive, get lectured, and get talked to then get
Because
the money.
you can't call on the phone, because usually if you call on the phone, we can put the phone aside as they fussing at you.
Right.
But now you literally have to drive to their house, or if you had home line, one thing, but drive up there. Hey, can you today we need this whatever. Well, but
Can I borrow? And they're like, mm-hmm. What did you do this time? Well, and then we had another situation that's just funny because we have our vehicles, our daughter's vehicle is currently down, and she made a point. She just says, "I see you." She takes my wife's car and don't even. It's like, at least ask.
Back in the day, we used to have to ask, "Hey, Mama, can I borrow the car keys?" And now it's like, "Bye,
See you.
bye." And she said, "Well, you ain't going nowhere anyway." I said, "Don't matter. At least if I wanted to go somewhere, at least I need a car outside to get one."
Right, because if I have to go out somewhere and she's stuck, I'm like, okay, I gotta get home real quick. She's stuck, and we got to get some stuff done. I was waiting to see if Sharon would chime in. She didn't chime in.
That's okay.
Let's see.
But we always want to, and of course, a good parent, you still want to do what's best. You still don't want your child out there lonely, or not lonely, but out there, wandering. And some people just take their hands off altogether. Some people will say, "You're 18, get out." Some people do that too. Some people are like, "Hey." And it's sometimes it's also a shock to the child too, because at first you were doing everything for them before they hit 18, but once they hit 18, you're on your own. Wait a minute, you used to make breakfast for me. Now you're not making breakfast for me anymore. So you got to. Sometimes you just can't stop them. Maybe you got to ease them into it and say, this is how it's going to work from now on. If you want to do it, if you don't, that's up to you. As a parent. It's always we love our children, and some things we see what's happening with how moms treat their child, and it's just so, I'm like, but we all do the best that we can as parents. Don't hit yourself in the head. You show your child's out there acting up, and you're wondering what have I done as parent. We all do our best what we can,
and don't compare your child to another.
Right, and then and I'm always saying, and as I know we don't want to go too much into spiritual, but it's always still about prayer. You got to pray over your child. And every day, it may not seem like it's going on. Matter of fact, Rain had a debate. I said, well, thank you, Jesus, because she's listening. And Rain had a debate with her co-workers about did Adam eat the apple? Well, they said apple, which we know is whatever. It was a forbidden tree, but we didn't know exactly. But they said apple. So they were debating, did Adam eat the apple? And Rain was like, yes, he ate. Rain knew. Yes, he ate the apple. And then she even said she went to the scripture. I was like, all right now.
Now she does have Psalm 91 tattooed on her. So.
Right. I was like, all right now. So it's like, and even I pray over my daughter. And the prayer I was saying, and then like God was even speaking to her. She said, well, she was hearing things like, don't do this, don't go there. One time she said she was at the stoplight and she heard, don't go once the light turns green. Rain's led foot. She wants green boom, and she heard, and she obeyed the voice, and sure enough, car ran the light, speeded right by her, and so it was like, thank you, Jesus, and things in that nature. And she tells me things like this happens often, when she's out there now, so we know God's watching over her, and I just thank God, so always just praying over your child and just protect him, because sometimes some parents just you gotta sometimes just gotta let them go. You gotta get your hands off them and just pray now
and let them experience. There are some things as a parent. My advice is I advise you not. If they say, "Oh, I'm gonna go this part," like, no, it's right now. It's too. One of the things I think we deal with as parents today, we have the Gen Z. They seem to be eager to move out on their own. And I'm looking at everything. I'm like, okay, as we spoke about last week, rent $2,600, $3,000 for apartments. And these, you're in school, you're not really understanding that
I mean,
you're going to have
you
to
find
have
something
5 or
within
6
reason.
jobs.
Why are you trying to move out when
Most parents,
most people just say, "Okay, bye." But
our neighbor across the street, they actually, I talked to him. He said, "Well, yeah, they own the house next door to him." He said, "Yeah, we charged our children $200 a month rent because they actually had a house to themselves, and that's how they paid the house fully off, is they rented it out." I didn't have to pay rent. I'm just gonna be open and honest. We don't make her pay rent, but my thing was how I handled it. I would bring something home. I would say, okay, a call. Wait, what do you need from the grocery store? I need a chicken. Okay, a whole chicken, a whole chicken. I said, okay, this weekend is gonna be chicken week. I'm gonna come home. There's gonna be a bird soaking in the sink. I still don't know why you soaked the chicken, but. So I would bring stuff home. I would then sometimes say, "Hey, don't worry, I'm gonna prepare. I'm gonna cook something for you."
It makes it.
Yeah. Anybody out there know why you soaked the chicken? I don't. And she didn't do it in salt. She just soaked it in regular water.
I think she might have put some water. I don't know.
I don't know. I never paid much attention because I never understood why she soaked the chicken.
Maybe it's chicken.
And so that's just how it was with us. I just knew to bring something home. That's all I asked. Bring something home, fine. Bring some water. Nowadays, you bring a case of water home. Bring something. You can bring me some chips home. I'm happy. But then let's see who all joined us since we last. We see Adrian Thomas, my cousin. She's back on.
Hey, thanks for joining us back, Adrian. Hi.
Marshall is on.
Ramon is on.
Oh, Ramon's on. I didn't see him. My brother is on.
Hey, Marshall.
I didn't see my brother was on.
You said chicken could have been frozen.
Actually, no. I brought it home fresh, and she would just soak it. She also did it with the frozen one too. I've seen that, but I don't know.
And it usually it's not like, it's usually like 5-6 hours, or it's the time.
Yeah, she would soak.
Mm-hmm. So that's a good point though, because it could have been frozen.
And she would also she would wash it too, which a lot of people. I watched a video on either Facebook or one of the platforms, and she said she washes her chicken because she wants to make sure there's no feathers on it. And my grandma would also wash the chicken. Nowadays,
really, because the FDA, the Food Drug Administration, they have a lot of criterias before you can sell stuff. So you probably don't even have to worry about all that stuff. Especially if you go to a meat market, that's already been cleaned. Some people say you shouldn't wash your chicken.
Well,
wash your meat.
We've been to the meat market. I'm not going to drop any names. The main one we go to, actually, it's two stores I go to. The 2 stores we go to, I never experienced feathers on the chicken. However, I went to a major retailer and I did see some leftover feathers on the wings. I've seen that.
Good gracious.
Yeah, I had to scrape it off before barbecuing it. I've seen that. So I have 2 major grocery store. Well, one grocery store I love to go to.
Now, it used to be, I know we're kind of going off to another area here, but we'll circle back. There used to be, they tell you how food is distributed. They're saying that, so if you have a chicken farm, so first thing, now if you have a contract with the chicken farm, of course you would get the first bid. But they say the first thing is that you would get is I think it goes to restaurants, it goes to
higher end grocery
stores, and then it goes to the meat markets or something like that. So if you guys Google it, but don't quote me on that. But that's how foods were distributed. But I guess now everything is contract, or maybe some, like here we have Lay's has their own potato farm, or Kroger's has their own dairy thing.
Kroger's makes everybody's milk.
milks and eggs and stuff like that. So, and so if how restaurants do it used to be, how they have the chef salad. Chef salad used to be everything that was left over from the night before. It all went into a salad. That's what you call chef. Yep, that's what you call chef salad. When you like bimbimbap, It's a Korean dish called. That's what exactly what it is. All it is just sides, and he just put it all in one bowl.
It is good.
And that's how. And that's basically all the sides he had left over. So, and then the what do you call it? The thing of the day, the entree of the day or whatever. It's what was fresh at the market at the time. That's the reason why you had the thing of the day, the food of the day, or the entree of the day. That's what that used to be,
The fish of the day.
or whatever, because they were able to get some good fish at the docks.
Hey,
I mean,
just like-
high end restaurants used to do that. They used to actually go out. Chefs used to go. I don't know if they still do. They might be still do it. They used
Some
to actually
do.
go out and go to the fish markets, go to the, go into all this stuff.
Well, we are coming close to the end of this. We really didn't go too deep into Gen Z.
Well, I mean, we talked about
it,
and we talked
parenting.
about the fact, after a while we can parent them, but now it's about advising them, and
Yeah.
it's up to them.
And
up
it's
here,
hard to
and
let
it's,
go.
And it's also just at the time now, as a parent, as a mother, as a father, is at that point, it's now you just have to pray for them, and hopefully they go into the right direction that they need to go.
Well, I can tell you, I just got back from Atlanta last week. This time last week, I was in Atlanta. I can't believe it.
Time is
flying.
fast.
And we discovered a restaurant there, speaking of food. And they had a fish. I said, when I go back, I'm going to have to try it. I've never had grouper. So I'm going to have to try me some grouper when we go back shortly, very soon, ironically. We're preparing for some great things. Okay, I see Marshall. Marshall said, we are hungry now. Are we taking this to the kitchen set? The kitchen is literally
just a few steps
just
away.
a few steps away, and I can just spin the camera around, and yeah, we can.
Well, I don't. I mean, only thing we may have, we got a little bit of turkey left over. I was about ready to throw it out because all it is really carcasses and little bits and pieces left.
It's not much.
It's not much.
Main
Oh, and my
carcass.
sister, we still have some of your pork and beans, my sister. So that was
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
she slammed on that one.
Yeah. Oh, what we could do about Thanksgiving dinner was fun this year
Right,
with the
right,
family.
right.
Seeing everybody. Some people I said, man, where they at? But we'll talk about that. Later. It was
Yes.
great seeing everyone. It was
We have our
great
family
fun
and-
fellowship. Now we're looking forward to next year's gatherings. I'm not sure if we're doing anything for Christmas. Usually Christmas, we haven't done anything for Christmas in a while. I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to do next. I guess our next one will be Easter/Resurrection week. That'll be our next family.
Really?
I believe so.
Unless well, you're thinking too far into advance here.
I'm just
I'm still
thinking.
trying to get back to this year. I'm trying to get further this year. Come out, And one thing you guys got also before we, the year is not over.
Nope.
Make sure you start, because we started this last month, right? It was last month or
Yeah,
last
and
month?
looking at our thing,
and we could have said, well, we're going to start next year.
No.
But the year is not over. It's still a plan. You still can achieve what your goal was supposed to be. So it's not over. You can start it. It may proceed into the next year, but still, jump out there, go out there and do.
Even though, tomorrow you have 34 days left as of tomorrow to start something. As I'm looking at our thing there, we have, this is week 48. You have 4 weeks to do something. There's nothing wrong with starting something. I think we need to getting somebody to talk about taxes. Oh, you don't want to talk about that?
That's too deep. I don't know. I'm not gonna say no, but we'll
I was
think
just
about it.
thinking, because you got also one of the biggest things,
Sometimes it's hard to
procrastinate,
be-
especially if you're Schedule C. I'm a procrastinator. I say every December, okay, let me start getting everything together so I can get everything to the accountant, have everything ready, taken care of. So when all the paperwork come in, all they gotta do is file it. And I think this is the worst procrastination I have this year. So I'm promising to my accountant, I promise I'm going to honestly do the stuff required to file my Schedule C. I have a receipt here. I'm going to do it starting in December. I promise I won't wait till June, July, or I think August to do it. So, yeah, we got a lot to do.
Head of household.
Yeah, see, I handle all this stuff because we're Schedule C. That's going back to the Gen Z thing.
I was being
That's going back to the Gen Z parenting. We also have to take care of higher education. And they're talking about, we need your tax forms. We're like, we're Schedule C. It's 35 to 40 pages of paperwork. So if you
She
never
wanted the front page. So
yeah, well, she didn't want the right front page, and we had to send her 34 pages of. Well, we'll leave that alone. All right, everyone. We are off on B2 TV. We're going to be back in 2 weeks. I believe I will be.
He actually recorded this time, so you may see us replayed on B.
Well, it was on B2.
Or we're going to go back to the Garrison House. If you haven't Garrison House, go over to our Garrison House podcast. Go over there, follow, like us, and that way we're gonna switch it over to there, so it'll be easier than going through two different pages.
Yeah, so we will be. I believe in January is my plan to switch everything over to the Garrison House podcast page, the Garrison House podcast YouTube, the Garrison podcast Cloud Live page. So we were supposed to be on Cloud Live today, but there were some technical issues. It was broadcasting our B2 channel, which I guess I technically could have done it. We went live on B2. So our plan is to move everything to our branded platforms, not just to our to my personal page. So just go over there now, get everything set up. It's the Garrison House podcast. All you gotta do is click on the banner on my page. I will make that public. So click on the banner. It'll take you straight to the Garrison House podcast page. And we're going to have some interesting topics. And hopefully, once we get everything together next year, we can have some guests. I want to have a guest. I would love to have a guest on. We'll talk about that. I have some guest ideas.
It's probably going to be until next year.
It'll be next year. I would love to get her sister on, because Sharon is actually, I think Sharon would be fun to have on as a guest for a topic one day. So, all right, everyone, we have to go. I'm Darnell.
I'm Angela.
And thank you for watching Garrison House. See ya.
It's been a minute. I'm out here pushing life to its limit. I love it, so you know I gotta give it. I told my mama I'll be back in a minute. It's been a while, nigga, I've been around. I told my mama